Sup, guys? Today we have another El Classic question to answer. What is the best part of Christmas? Guys, you've been waiting for it. You've been counting down the days. 4 whole days you've been counting. And here we are. It is December 25th. It is Christmas Day. I am ready. I am decked out in my Christmas attire. I normally record these videos completely and or utterly naked. Today I have donned some Levi jeans and my one and only Christmas sweater. It has a picture of a festive pug dog on the front of it with a little Christmas scarf. Guys, this one is going to be we're gonna have to be a little creative here. Frankly, this is not comparing your mom's Taco Bell order with your dad's favorite DQ ice cream. Nor is it the smell of a rose compared to the smell of a light dew in the air. Frankly, this one we're comparing characters with real life events, with memories, with nostalgia. It's gonna be tough, but we're gonna get through it. All right, we have to. We have a mission to. We have a duty to. I have a duty to you. To get to the bottom of this, right? You can't enjoy all of Christmas. You got to choose just one thing to enjoy. So that's what we're trying to do here. Also, let's be honest. If we're just going item by item, there's going to be some busted picks on this list, frankly, right? So what I've done to combat that is I thought ahead. I problem solved before the problem even originated. And I eliminated that by lumping some things in. So if you see, if you take a look at the North Coast right here, you're going to see a picture of a stocking, 4 in fact. Now, someone might say, "Oh, so this is a stocking?" No. That's it. We're lumping things in today. So that is yes, stockings, but also this is decorations, excluding Christmas trees. What does that mean? What does that mean at all? So that means stockings. It means my favorite decoration growing up, which was like a little Santa Claus. Oh God, that's the beard and mustache. Oh my God. Okay. And he would sit in this thing. This guy right here, one of my dearest memories, is really a combo pick. It was a Santa Claus, it was a decoration, and when you pressed a little button on it, it would sing a Christmas song. I kind of forget what song it is, but you can just imagine. You even put your favorite Christmas song in his little face when you're imagining him singing. And that'll be good for you. But yeah, he would, and he was a really good guy. But also, in addition to that, plus the music, even better, I think, was he would do a little jig. Like he had probably one joint between neck and torso here, the thorax of his body, if you will. But that jig, the movement he was on, I drew this really accurately, is this circular bass. And this is, if he's all like felt and plush, the bass is hard plastic, right? And that's key to this. Right? That's super key because what it did is if you are on a table, wow, that's a really straight line. That means he's going crazy, man. He's rocking right around the Christmas tree, just to bring it to yet another one of our options today. But let's bring it back to any of our options today by stopping to discussing this one specific decoration and continuing to discuss the merits of decorations themselves. I mean, we kind of are talking about it, right? I remembered that decoration more than I remember the gifts I got that year, right? A decoration was owned by my grandmother. We went to my grandmother's house, and I stole it. I stole it with my lips that pursed in a puppy dog manner. I stole it with my begging and my pleading, and I stole it by stealing my grandmother's heart. And she decided she would allow me to take that home because I liked it a lot. And ever since then, I've been playing that same gosh darn. I do want to clarify, by the way, the button actually is not on the base of it. It's on Santa's hand. If that's like a glove, that's like his arm. I'm not gonna draw the whole thing again, but it's on the meat of his hand. Just in case you're trying to search up to find the same thing to purchase for yourself, I would recommend it. No one else in my family was a big fan, especially when I was a kid. I played it nonstop, and as I've aged, I only played it more and more. So decorations. I mean, this is the problem with decorations, right? There's two major problems with decorations, right? Also, I just want to point out. I know you guys know your own decorations, but I just want to point out another key one, which is, again, not as good of a line. There we go. Another key decoration is you take your table, right? And I don't know. This kind of depends on what kind of family you have, of how big this table is, and how only dedicated it is to the single decoration, or if it's like a normal table with like a little decoration zone on it. Equivalent to a decoration zone on a table could be like, take that and put this on a mantle. What are we putting on the mantle? The decoration I'm about to describe, which is the classic, often like a train set. But I've seen some that are not actually just a train set. Like there's no train involved at all. I don't even think the one we had a train on it. But it's these little model houses. It's just like a model Christmas village. Man, I mean these. I don't know how these got so big. Besides the fact that they are perfect and like really good, so of course they did. But you would see like, and then like, you have like little parts where it's like, this is like an ice rink, and they have like little skates on. That's actually pretty good. And I don't know why this person's so much bigger, but I mean, you guys have seen these things. Again, I mean, these decorations, when you're, even as an adult, I mean, adults love these things, maybe more than any other decoration, because they are, I don't know, they're just a bit more interesting, and it's a bit like more artsy putting it together. It's like a model train set or any kind of these kinds of things. Adults do enjoy that. But man, are they mesmerizing when you're a little one. We're growing up, and we did a pretty small version of this, but even that, I mean, I was just amazed, and it was something I didn't want to, I mean, I was a rambunctious youngin'. I was breaking stuff. I was running in to places I shouldn't have been, right? But not into the Christmas village, right? Not into that. I would never. I saw those things. I saw the fragility of their internal structure and chemical composition, and I figured, that's not for my quite frankly clumsy fingers at the time. So I didn't risk it. I would, these are the. I don't know what it was. There was no equivalent in my mind. If I saw a toy, if I saw a Santa Claus that would jump around and bounce around and groove around on a table that my grandmother owned, I was like, I want to own it. I see those kind of toys, man. I'm like, this is for the big guys. This is for the people who can handle it. And frankly, that's not me right now. Few years down the line, I'll get there. Even now, though, if I saw a really nice setup of one of those, I'm not like, let me see what's going on there. Let me just move that bush real quick, bro. It's gonna be a domino effect, and I don't want to be in that kind of debt to someone by breaking their super sick set. Okay, but also I think although I do like the other decorations, I'm also going to include like little hearths and stuff. I know people like those, supposedly. I guess we can, if we're including hearths, I guess we'll include like, oh my god, I'm not actually trying to make it look so bad. This is like little berries. These are all leaves. It's supposed to be mistletoe. I guess I'll include that too. I'm not a big fan of mistletoe. Not because I'm like, it's, weird to force someone to kiss you, have like a rule to kiss you. Because like that's not like that's a very low level critique of mistletoe, because nobody really does that. Like, yes, there's people who like wear a belt on like a ugly sweater a party, and they'll have like a little, little mistletoe. God, it's really hard to draw mistletoe that doesn't look weird. Um, and then it's like these are their legs, obviously, and they're like, their face is always right, like, like, like a little like, they're like, you want to, hey, you know. They normally have like pretty sharp hair too. Like not like they're not gonna be curly, because they're gonna be a little weird. They're gonna, what I mean. They're gonna be a little like not weird in like a like goofy, quirky, like a little intense. Like that's why this eyebrow is like, haha. This one's like follow the rule, right? So people do use mistletoe, for bad things, I guess. But most of the time, it is like, oh, give grandma a kiss on the cheek. And that I don't have a problem with, even. I guess my problem with mistletoe is I feel like it's... growing up, you get this portrayal that it's everywhere. Every time you see anything, you hear any song, you watch any movie, mistletoe is brought up big time. I mean, almost all the time. Even if it has a small role, it's still present. But genuinely, even though I was just describing a whole situation involving mistletoe in a man's belt and crotch area, I do not actually know if I've ever seen mistletoe, or like even like a plastic version of mistletoe, in my life. Genuinely. I feel like I've been around some pretty Christmassy places. My family doesn't go crazy for Christmas, but like we still celebrate it. So it's just real disappointing. Mistletoe. Get out there. Actually, get in the real world. We want to see you. We want to use you for cheap jokes, and for little like forced sweet moments like we see in the movies. But you got to get in the stores. You got to get in our homes so we can use you. Anyways, we're comparing to not just Last Christmas, not just this beautiful man himself, the most careless of whisperers, but just Christmas music in general. I gotta admit, although I mean this is one of the exceptions, like Last Christmas and All I Want for Christmas Is You. I'll admit, like I'm not the biggest fan of those two. Maybe there's like one or two other I'm forgetting of, like what I would say are like the new wave of Christmas music, which I know is saying that is a little silly, considering that both of those songs are getting a little old these days. You know what I mean? They're not the new kid off the block, frankly. They aren't the kid who like moves to town and everyone thinks they're really hot just because they're like fresh blood. And they're still in that like 2 months where everyone's like enamored with them, and then after those 2 months they're like, oh wait, they're actually just as like ugly and dumb as the rest of us. But these songs are ugly and dumb like the rest of us already, and yet they still, in my heart of hearts, I don't see them as like the classics. I feel like I'm meeting people who listen to the like modern Christmas music, and even if it's the same lyrics as the old classics, but they're covered by modern artists, I feel like I'm meeting them halfway, even tolerating a Last Christmas, frankly. And if people push too much for the really new stuff, frankly, it will be there Last Christmas, if you know what I mean. So if you're like, okay, well, what are your top Christmas picks? I'm not like. Once you've gotten into the classics, I'm not super picky, right? Oh, you like Mele Kalikimaka? Well, of course you do. It's a great, fun song. A good beat, good rhythm, good singing. Oh, you like Santa Baby? Little cool, little like that's the guy with the mistletoe crotch. If he wasn't like a weirdo, that's like, oh, Santa Baby. It's like you're like alternative, but like you're like Avril Lavigne in like a cool way, You're not like, oh man, you're not like Avril Lavigne is really cool, but you see those girls that like following her fame, so many girls like this, and they have like this is a streak of blue, and well, that's actually inaccurate. This is one eye, other eyes covered up, and they're like they have nose ring, and they're just like that, right? This is just but what are they missing, right? Why do these girls feel so much worse than old Avril? It's because when she's singing about a skater boy, she's opening that mouth. She's not. She even when she's like not even that happy, she's passionate, and you can be cynical, you can be sarcastic, you can be alternative, but be passionate. And frankly, Santa Baby is a passionate song, maybe a little too passionate for the kids, frankly, if you know what I mean. Let me just clean this up real quick. So clearly, I feel very passionate about Christmas music. Although what exact opinions I have about it may be still unclear. I'm a big fan, frankly. Of all the members of this list, Christmas music is honestly the one I probably enjoy the most long term, right? Decorations, maybe you put them up. Decorations actually are maybe the second most long lasting of the list, which makes it a little tough for this first round. Because you can put them up. So I know some people are pushing it, but normally December 1st, that's pretty acceptable to start putting up the Christmas decorations around the house. But Christmas music, I do actually find it a little ridiculous when people are they're taking off their Halloween costume and putting up a stocking. But Christmas music, I for some reason have no problem with listening really early on. I guess there's something about it being so. If you're like playing Christmas music out loud, that's kind of weird if it's that early. Like I guess that's actually so true. I get mad at stores when I hear it. It's like it's not even Thanksgiving and they're already playing Christmas music in the stores. That's like a little like, come on, guys. However, if I will on my own listen to Christmas music in that same time period, and I have no problem with that because Christmas music has it's such a sound and music is such a teleporter of the mind to different eras and memories, eras and memories in your life that I take advantage of that. And if I'm feeling a little down in the fourth quartile of the year, man, I pop on a little Christmas music in my Spotify playlist. And I pog off, frankly. I'm liking it a lot. It's one of those things I really, man, this dynamic of listening to it alone versus in a store or even in just like a group, man, that's actually big for me. I love listening to Christmas music alone, which maybe sounds kind of sad, but it makes me feel, when you're alone, there's two like wolves inside you when you're alone, right? There's one that's lonely, sad wolf, and then one that is like, again, stoic, content, happy, contemplative, but in a positive way, like thinking of their next tour de force, not contemplating the end of days, right? Listening to Christmas music alone converts bad wolf to good wolf every time, man. So for that, I'm a big I'm a big lover of Christmas music, and even come actual Christmas time, Christmas in the days a couple days preceding, if you will. It only gets better in my opinion. Man, I love hearing that stuff, and then once it gets 5, 6, maybe pushing it to 10 days before Christmas, I want to hear it everywhere. That's where I get mad if I go in a store and I'm not hearing it, frankly. It's a powerful thing. A lot of our culture around Christmas obviously comes from the songs that we listen to and their lyrics and their little metaphors and things like that. A lot of times they don't invent the kind of symbols of Christmas, but they really solidified the ones that they draw upon, right? It's like something like mistletoe, right? And hanging the stockings. How popular would mistletoe and hanging the stockings be, and other kind of decorations like that, if not for songs, right? That's a genuine question, one for your your historians out there, like a professor that you're gonna see today, maybe ask him to uproot his current research project and tackle that question. I'd love to read that conjecture, frankly. But man, okay, again, I know I always stall when it's a tough one, but this one really is. Christmas music is something that it's like a very shared thing. Everyone in the world can kind of relate when a Christmas song that everyone knows comes on. Even if it's also one of those things where everyone knows just enough to have fun, but not enough to take it too seriously. Everyone knows, like, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, but do you know what's after that? Maybe you know like the next 5 lyrics, but do you know the next 50? I don't think so. So it's like, okay, hit him with your deep Sinatra voice, your little Bing Crosby, your little Nat King Cole for the for the chorus or for the opening chords of the song, and then just hit him with some blah blah blahs and some hums and a couple of every 10th word and you say it real loud to act like you know all the lyrics. But anyways, so is this like shared, across the Western world at least? The Christmas music that I listen to is something that it's a bond across time and space. Decorations are obviously more. This is your family unit. This is your core, and it's tough though because yes, there is value, but having something that you can relate to the masses with, to everyone. But you lose some of the magic, some of the specialness, I think. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. My family, I know this is a common thing, but my family has all of our, our stockings for each family member with our little names on them. And man, my stocking has also like a snowman on it, like a little scarf. Carrot eyes. I don't even know how to. I don't even know what my point here is, but my stocking is like my stocking, man. It really is something. I feel so special to it. Even my favorite Christmas song, when it comes on, I'm happy, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't be sad if my Christmas song burned in a fire. Kind of hard to kind of make that analogy because it doesn't make any gosh darn sense for a song to burn. But you know what I mean? Like, if someone said, oh, for whatever reason you couldn't listen to that one song again, I'd be like, there's other songs. There's no other stocking than this one. Like, this is my stocking, This is my family, these are my, kind of memories, and the decorations have that personal aspect. I also want to bring up something that I haven't, this is actually kind of stacked for the decorations because I hikey forgot about it, and I think if I would have remembered, it might have been their whole. I might have separated the category and not have it been so busted. But maybe you at home are shouting for this. I'm gonna start doodling, and you guys, shout it out once you get it, right? And I think if you didn't know what I'm about to draw, you weren't already thinking it, you're gonna be like, oh my god. This is about to get tough for the old Christmas songs. Honestly, you should have already gotten it. It's pretty obvious now. Okay, that's like a jaw. I don't know. Okay, so you should get it by now. This is a Nutcracker side profile. This is like the little lever, lever. You can pull on it, you can push it and stuff. I don't really like. I don't know why. I'm having trouble thinking about like the logistical engineering properties of a Nutcracker to think of how this lockjaw is happening. I don't know. It's not important, but what is important is, oh my god, you think my stocking is, bro? I mean, there's so many traditions around Nutcrackers. Even if you have none, they're just so cool looking, and it's, oh man, whether it's the real ones or you watch a movie where the Nutcrackers are animated and walking around and jumping and such, and they're kind of cool, like they're little soldiers. I there's a lot of traditions in my family. I think this is a pretty basic one, but every year, all the kids would get a single nutcracker, and just a little small one, and it would, but you would try to have it be something about that year for that kid. So because they make nutcrackers, this is the nutcracker. And we would get some that are really fat, just like this too. Those were like some of my favorites. I like the fat ones, and they always had like a weird, like hat. I don't know. They didn't have just like a Santa hat. Frankly, they had like it was off like a crown or something because they were like little soldiers. But it was like, oh, first grade you would get one that has like a pencil, right? That's the eraser, and it's like, oh, okay, and on the bottom you write like 1961, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember being in 1961 in the first grade. That's my nutcracker for that year, right? So again, decorations store memories. It's weird. Songs bring you back to a feeling. Decorations will store specific memories, even if not the exact feeling as much. I don't remember, if when I see my nutcracker from 1961, I don't remember how I felt then, right? It's a long time ago, frankly, so I forget. But when I hear Mele Kalikimaka, just to continue pretending like I only know like 4 Christmas songs, I remember the first time I heard Mele Kalikimaka. I mean, this would have been 62, right? Second grade. It is a time machine, man. Man, this is tough. This is so tough. I know it's probably been, I don't know, 4 hours and I haven't made a single decision yet. But guys, this is Christmas. We aren't messing around here, man. Comparing the two is impossible. They're both perfect. I love it all. And I think what I'll have to use to kind of help make some of these decisions a little easier is thinking, okay, you have Christmas, as sad as it might be, it brings a tear to your eye, without one of these. Do you wake up and run downstairs to a completely normal looking house with no decorations at all? Or do you have a December and a Christmas with not a single jingle bell or Christmas hymn hummed? Not an ideal, not the kind of decision you want to be making. But I think for me, there's enough artifacts and relics on this list and images and things that bring me back to kind of some more personal memories where there's not as much that brings the whole world together like a Christmas song. So I'm gonna say Christmas songs wins. I hate to do it again. Decorations. I mean, man, decorations is such a big part of Christmas. Like, I'm not even really talked about putting up the decorations. And again, for some people, that might win the gosh darn list. And once you start including those memories, because they really like Again, I've been the person enjoying the table with the train on it. If you're the person who models that thing and you put that together, and you have like a little hill with a little house on it, right, and like a little, I don't know, like a gnome or something. Then it's like, okay, one of the few times I will say I could conceive of someone disagreeing with my pick, frankly. One of the very few times, maybe the only time you'll ever find. All right, next up, we have the Christmas tree. Again, decorations included everything but the Christmas tree. Christmas tree versus Christmas dinner. Oh my God. I mean, this one is tough as heck. Man, I tell you what though, the Christmas tree, I mean, it is the platonic ideal symbol for Christmas. And I know some of you might be out here saying, what about Jesus? What about Santa? What about, what about your dad yelling at you? Those are all good symbols, for sure, but they're not they're not for everybody. Some people are going to really be attached to the Jesus baby. Some people are going to be really attached to the Coca-Cola bottle on a refreshing treat on a hot day, right? Fair enough. Everybody's getting behind a Christmas tree. Everybody, right? They smell great. Let's admit it. They get you in a mood. Something about seeing it, even if they kind of look ugly. It's one of those things where the better it looks, the better it looks, right? If you decorate a Christmas tree really well, it looks really good. But also, the uglier it looks, also the better it looks. And the in-betweenest it looks, the bestest it looks, right? What do I mean by all that gibberish? All that gobbledygook? What I'm saying is you can't go wrong with a Christmas tree. You have like a pathetic little shrub, a little Christmas shrub on Charlie Brown, right? You hang one ornament from it, and it's falling down. There's your little tree base with some dirt. This is a pot, right? That's great. I mean, we're all liking it, honestly. Like, that's not bad. It's cute. It's fun. It's funny. In the same kind of vein, you take one of these little, this is your bedroom, right? This is not, I hope this is not your main Christmas tree for your house. And maybe in the corner of your room, like maybe on your nightstand, you get one of those little Christmas trees that's like, it's like pink normally. And again, you can put like 2 lights on it, maybe one little baby ornament. Those are good fun. Again, they have a similar effect, not as intense, but it's like the whole point is you're never going wrong with the Christmas tree. It's such a symbol. You're making a cookie, you're making it in the shape of a Christmas tree. That's what you're doing, right? It really is. Oh man, it's Christmas, right? It really is. No Christmas tree, no Christmas, right? It's one of those things, right? However, just to be honest with you guys, we live in a carbon consumption based world, right? What are we but hungry little dingoes looking for a baby to munch on, right? Guys, Christmas is about coming together, about your loved ones, about your religious beliefs and spirituality. It's about the time, right? But it's also about the gosh darn turkey, bro. It's about that food, man. It's about gorging until you're filled to the gosh darn rafters. Ooh, man. And I almost hate that it's so quickly in this list. In this bracket, I've thought about having to compare about which one I would rather not have at Christmas. Man, this one, I think like we'll find a lot of these would be pretty gosh darn tough. No tree, again, it's what you just put the presents just where on the floor, outside, around a snowman in snow, around a nutcracker, without a tree, I don't know. There's no central point. Again, I think that's why the Christmas tree works so well as the symbol for Christmas. Is it's such a centering force, right? Other things are kind of if you're drawing in your mind's eye a Christmas scene, right? We'll do like a star, right? You have like presents asymmetric over here. You have like that weird sharp-haired guy with what over here, right? And you have, I don't know, like a shelf with an elf on it, right? And like I don't know what I'm like what I'm trying to say here is, and here's like a window under the shelf and you can see a snowman outside, right? You have, it's like, oh, there's a thing over here. It's like, oh, Christmas scene. What's the golden ratio? What is the boom, it's the Christmas tree. Your eyes focus here. Your spirit is aligned at the Christmas tree, right? It might not be the center of the picture. It might not be it doesn't have to steal the show, right? You can easily have like, oh, my Christmas photo. Like, spoiler alert, the background of this gosh darn whole thing, right? These two people embracing in Christmas love. There's a Christmas tree here. I cropped it out because it didn't fit my aspect ratio, but it's always there. It's you want to know what time of year it is. You're a first year filmography student, right? With your glasses, and you're like, holding your chin. How can I make it obvious that this is Christmas? Here's your camera. Put a Christmas tree there. Anywhere in the scene, nobody's questioning it, right? Oh, what time of year it is. It's Christmas time. Okay, that being said, again, Christmas is so based on the Christmas tree, but man, oh man, genuinely, what are you all sitting around the table saying how much you hate each other? That's a bad Christmas. You need a dinner, right? Also, Christmas dinner is such a event to make too. I mean, just think about this though. Your eyes are just looking at each other across the table, an empty table, no dinner, no food. You're hungry. You're mad. That's a bad Christmas, man. But okay. Also, again, what I was saying was, there's a lot of Christmas. Again, it's. Let's be honest with ourselves. Besides the magic of a global present delivery within a 24-hour span, which occurs, that's out of our control. We don't really do anything with that, right? So what is it up? What's left for the actual people to do? The Santa and elves of the world and reindeer. Excuse me. Well, we have two things to do: decorate, which already is off the gosh darn list, and cook food. If you're not cooking Christmas dinner and you're not decorating, oh nice, you have a Christmas song to listen to while you look at your tree, but there's no actual event for Christmas. What's happening Christmas Eve and Christmas Day? So you're not eating dinner with your family or your friends. Then what are you doing? As symbol, as important it is to have a nice symbol for Christmas, is it important to symbolize Christmas if come Christmas Day nothing happens? So I think the Christmas tree is the unifying symbol. Christmas dinner and the preparation of it is the unifying event. Right? Caveat though, asterisk. If old. Because guess what? Maybe it's been a few a few turns of the old rock around the much bigger, hotter rock, and you've forgotten what it's like to have Christmas as a little kid. What even is Christmas dinner? If you're a kid, who cares, bro? You don't even feel hunger because you're always eating random. Like, even if you haven't been fed for days, this is again big asterisk, not real parental advice. Kids will be fine though. Like, honestly, you could not feed a kid for actually like weeks and they would be fine. Because like when you're a kid, you're just always eating something, right? You're like, oh, when was your last meal? This boy, never. Oh, but how many calories do you intake a day? 10,000. Right? How? Popsicles, random cookies, little pieces of candy, lint and stuff, right? So it's like you don't care about this, you care about this. Spoiler alert, it's the presents, right? And that is a unifying event, is the opening of the presents. You're sitting on, I know we're going to get to the actual presents eventually. At least so I'm told. At this pace, I'm not sure. Your parents sitting here, you have two moms, and you're looking at the Christmas tree, and there's just wrapping paper everywhere, right? and the kids are among this. This is a Where's Waldo or Wally, depending on where you reside. Try to find the children. It's impossible. They're in a sea of wrapping paper and joy, a manic joy, frankly. This for a lot of Christmas, and let's be honest, a lot of Christmas is about the kids. This is the central event, not the dinner, right? Now, Christmas dinner, again, as you get older, it becomes more and more important. And I think if you're also in a larger family, a lot of times people will do things like, maybe it's not practical to get your second great uncle in law half a present for Christmas. So maybe you guys don't do presents with the whole big family, but if you do bring the whole family, what are you doing? You're having dinner, right? That's the one thing that if you don't have Christmas dinner with somebody, you didn't really have Christmas with them, Hey, let me invite you over to just open stuff. Like what? That's like it's an event for kids, but not really for adults, right? So again, guys, I apologize. I swear I'll try to pick up the gosh darn pace, but man, how do you choose, bro? How do you choose? I think, man, it's important to remember that Christmas is obviously a global holiday, but this is Christmas U.S. edition, as is all the permanent caveat. And as much as I really do value the Christmas dinner, in America, you have a little bit, not really. Again, there's no real justification for this, but I'm having to force some, right? So I don't just get in permanent stun lock and die. But you have a little fatigue from Thanksgiving, right? Thanksgiving is genuinely all about the gosh darn dinner. I mean, what is Thanksgiving besides the dinner? It's nothing. Football? Charlie Brown Thanksgiving? Thankfulness? It's nothing, right? It's all about the dinner. So you've just had a holiday that is genuinely just the dinner. So if I'm just thinking, right, as sad as it would be, a Christmas with no dinner, it's like, well, at least we had that at Thanksgiving, at least the focus of Christmas, although it still is largely on the dinner, it's not just on the dinner. So I think it could survive without it. I don't know if Christmas survives without a Christmas tree, frankly. I think that might be the death of the holiday. So for that reason, sadly, unbelievably, a man likes to eat, frankly. So putting anything above food is quite bizarre for me. But maybe it's a new phase, New Year's resolution coming up. Okay, next up, this picture might be a little tough to tell. It's a kind of I don't know, it looks like a snowman gone wrong. Shape's a little interesting here. Quite tall, though. Honestly, an impressive build for these lads, frankly. I'm proud of them. Good job, guys. Good job, boys. But this is the snowman. I think a lot of people are thinking a more classic look when they think snowman, and frankly, I agree. Again, I don't know why my hats keep turning out like this. That's meant to just be a Christmas hat. Maybe if I had a bauble, it'll look better. With little stick arms and stuff like that. The snowman versus both. I know this is a picture of Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, but this will also include all reindeer. Let's not be exclusionary of Dixon, even though, come on, he's the worst, right? That is if he is actually one of them. I'm pretty sure. If Dixon's not, pretend I said Dasher, right? And if that's not, pretend I said Prancer. All right. These are two. I'm also going to include Frosty the Snowman with Snowman, which I know is a big. I know that is a game changer. So I wanted to just put that out there right away, right? Snowmen and reindeer are. These are honestly, some of these other ones have been kind of hard to compare because they're so different, but reindeer really occupy a similar role as snowmen, right? I mean, again, not if you are thinking about the logistics of how the massive operation of Christmas works. If you're thinking on the Santa elf kind of a varietal, obviously reindeer have a very specific job and a necessary role, frankly, right? So we'll get to that, but right now we're going to talk about the role they play as not as a real thing that helps in the process of delivering presents to every kid in the world, right? But as just a icon and a symbol right now. They're both often depicted in cartoons and movies and songs about Christmas as kind of these important side characters that everyone can kind of relate to, because they don't have, although certain reindeer and certain snowmen like Frosty, like Rudolph, are really well known and kind of have a personality already established, right? You could also just have a snowman who's personified, or a reindeer, right? And it doesn't have to be, you can kind of place any kind of personality. If you're a kid, if you're an adult, and you want to see a character in a cartoon or in a movie that you can relate to, hey, that could be one of these guys, because they don't have to be, you might not be able to relate to Santa or the elves or anything like that, because they kind of have personalities already. These guys are carte blanche for you. They're blank slates that you can paint yourself on, and I implore you to do so. Right, find something in a Christmas character that you can find in yourself, and I think that's a way to better yourself, is act a little bit more like a Christmas cartoon character. Either that or get locked up for a misdemeanor. But anyways. There's also some activities with both too. Again, these are actually very similar in my mind's eye. As I am thinking about it and talking through it, you can, I know a lot of people. I never did this, but a lot of people did, put out reindeer food, and they make little reindeer food. Maybe I did do this in school. I never did it in my family stuff, right? You get some oats and raisins and such, and little chocolates and little things to feed the reindeers, which I think is nice. I think I haven't, and I don't know. I assume they appreciate it. But again, that's like a bonding and a little thank you, similar to sugar cookies and milk for Santa, obviously. So that is a nice activity. Obviously, snowmen, 90% of it is the activity. This is definitely, I would say the characters of reindeer are a bit more popular than the characters of snowmen, right? Again, you'll see a lot of snowmen, but they're not as big of a deal as reindeer are in a lot of depictions of Christmas in popular culture. But the activity of building a snowman is a real big deal, right? I mean, there's like competitions for competitive snowman building. I presume I genuinely just made that up, and yet it's true, right? It's a real big thing. And like I like to do, I gotta admit my biases here, right? I think if you know me as one thing and one thing only, and that is a proficient snowman builder. A little POV. This is a pretty accurate drawing of my house. This is a fence. This is my house, and this is my lawn. Right, so this is like shingle, because that's the roof of a house. And if you're in Texas, which I'm from, the great state, this should be a little higher. My bad. But if you're from somewhere in here, and you have a lawn, let's say this is pretty accurate to a lawn size, like this is pretty normal lawn sized, you might be asking, where's the snowman coming from, right? And the truth is, it's not coming very often, but when it comes, it's coming pretty pathetically as well, because if you live anywhere in here that's in a normal part, maybe you're in like a gosh darn mountain somewhere. I'm sure there's some big mountain in Texas somewhere. It's a big place. Come on, guys. You're not getting a lot of snow. However, POV, you're me as a little kid, there was a few times, I'm going to say maybe 3 times while I was a child, that I would get some snow. And it was, you get any snow. I mean, if this is the ground, genuinely, like, that's the layer of snow. I mean, right there. It is not, it's not a big thing. But it does exist sometimes. So how do you make a snowman out of that little line right there? That's the big question. And the answer is this lawn right here. I mean, when I'm telling you guys, I started here. POV, you're me. You start here. You start just collecting. Pick up. This is on your snow day because, the roads got iced over from that one little layer of snow, Avi. And you're taking your snow day and you're picking up every little follicle of snow you can find on the grass. Keep in mind, it's on the muddy grass and melting actively. As we're speaking right now, it's almost all gone. So you're not getting nice fluffy snow. You're getting grassy, muddy, dirty snow. So you make your way around here until you get to the end of the lawn or the other end of it. And what do you have? You have a big ball of garbage, right? It's gross. It's wet. It's soggy. It's really brown and green. But if you're smart though, if you're a high IQ 9-year-old, maybe I was a little older. I mean, this is so high IQ, I can't believe it. You also have taken a small, pure little ball, right? Maybe it's a little bigger than this. And this is, you scrape the very top layer. I mean, you cut the atom in half here, did a little fission. And you just took the very tippity top that is actually still pure and it hasn't been tainted by touching the dirt and the grass. So you use this ball and you shape up a nice little snowman, and then you rub the pure snow on top of all of that. And then by the end of it, it looks like you have just like a nice snowman because nobody knows that there is this underlying, little trash heap. So POV, you're me, and I only did this once. I think because even doing that method, there really wasn't much to work with for me. So let's say I'm at 9 or 10. I have genuinely no idea how tall a 9 or 10-year-old is. But let me just clean up, guys. I apologize. Let me just get rid of all this. Oh God, I erased my picture again. Okay, there we go. But let's just say that honestly, we don't have to. We'll just make that the measurement, right? So this is one 10-year-old height, right? The snowman, this is actually, I know it looks to be about, maybe 65 hundredths of a 10-year-old height. This is actually 1/3, if you can imagine that. So this is not drawn to scale at all. It's really pathetic, and also we weren't prepared for this. So I have a very distinct memory. We didn't have like buttons and a nice carrot. If you know, honestly, frozen taquitos. This is taco and this is little, so it's little tacos for you guys out there. Want a little fun factoid? These things are. I know that kind of looks like a blunt, but it's just a rolled tortilla, frozen. You get a box of 20. And it's with chicken inside. You can get beef. You can get a lot of different types. I get chicken taquitos. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I hate to admit it. We just took one of those boys and we just stuffed a taquito in this guy's nose. It looks really bad. Taquitos are again a frozen taquito. Even cooked taquitos look kind of gross when they were from a box. Frozen ones even worse, and they make a horrible nose. So that was my first go. And this guy, even with my best attempts, there was still some brown and grass, and again, just overall really ugly guy. Then, POV a little bit later. Now I'm let's just say now I'm a new height. of a 15-year-old. 15-year-old height, right? Okay, cool. Next snowman. Hey now. We're one half. One half a 15-year-old height. I mean, that's a lot more than a third of a 10-year-old height. So I'm told. And it was honestly looking pretty decent. This is when I was out of Texas. There was some real snow on the ground. Still a little mister. And by that I mean a little weird looking. You know, he had hands pretty similar to that, honestly. Kind of, again, not a great guy, but clear progress. He was all white. He was a little too short, for sure. The bottom. This is a classic problem. You start making the snowman, and you're like, oh, this is a great size for the bottom, and you kind of run out of time, and then you kind of have one of these kind of little situations going on. This guy wasn't that extreme, but he was getting pretty gosh darn close. I'll be honest. But okay. Now. POV, next snowman. It's actually genuinely, back in Texas, I think it might be the exact same age, height, and the height of the snowman was the same. So that's not a really fun development in the snowman arc. But next arc, oh my god, guys, get ready. I'm adult height now. Which, if you're anything like me, was about 1 inch taller than 15. Like, pretty sadly. Honestly, maybe 1 inch shorter. It can't be said. And now, again, not drawn to scale, this is now 1.3 adult heights. So, again, this is much taller. And this guy, I mean, he was a beaut. I mean, smooth, perfectly round. I mean, we took our time with this man. I mean, this was a team effort, frankly. I gotta admit, although I am a pretty good craftsman when it comes to snowman. Now that I've become learned and I got a lot of practice. I mean, this guy is the proof and the pudding, if you know what I mean. And I'll also be honest. Although it was a group effort, I think I dictated a lot of the I was a bit of the foreman, and the construction worker all in one. I was on my hands and knees getting a little frostbite on my ankles, frankly. Quite dangerous. Went straight purple. But I was also given the advice, the dictation that the other people needed to build a masterpiece, which I finally did. So I peaked. Have I built one since then? No, frankly. But did I enjoy that experience, and have I enjoyed every single time I've made a snowman, even some of the worst attempts, even the kind of desperate taquito kind of attempts that happened in Texas? Frankly, I did. I take a lot of pride in my snowman, and although I love a reindeer, I just gotta admit that because of my non-bias, I'm just gonna say snowmen are just straight better. So they're moving on. Sorry, reindeer. I kind of feel like you didn't get a good chance there. But again, it's a foregone conclusion. You're talking with the foremost snowman builder in the world, and you're asking if he likes a snowman. Well, surprised I do. Okay, the next two are things I also like a lot. We have presents versus this is Ralphie with his Red Ryder. Of course, if you haven't seen it, is the greatest Christmas movie ever, A Christmas Story. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like the title of that movie because it's very confusing. What's your favorite Christmas movie? A Christmas Story. No, a Christmas movie. What is your favorite Christmas movie? Yeah, A Christmas Story. What? I don't care, but I don't read. Anyways. But this is Ralph with the Red Ryder. But this represents all Christmas movies. I also include Christmas short films and and specials of other shows and such. I'm not gonna just include if you have a show that has a Christmas episode, but it has an actual Christmas special. I mean, I think you're smart enough. You got a high enough IQ, 40 plus, I'm sure, to understand the difference between those two, frankly. So again, some classics. A Christmas Story. You got some Scrooge McDuck versions and non-McDucks. You have the Peanuts, of course. Maybe you like Elf. You like a little silly type things, like a little Will Ferrell. I'm not gonna hate on your Christmas movies. Also, just gonna give you guys some advice out there for the Americans, for the U.S. Ians out there. You know, watch. I agree that the UK is pretty bad at everything. However, you can benefit from taking a little perusal at a movie called but except the is actually not included in the title, and it's just called Nativity! Exclamation point. This is key, so I'm told. But look up Nativity, man, and I'm gonna be honest. You probably have to legally download it, and I don't want to support that, but it's probably what's gonna be happening. I'm gonna advise you not to do that for legal reasons, but again, there'll be no other way if you're living in the U.S. to watch it. I don't think so. But give it a good look, and pay attention to a little guy when you do watch it. And this little guy's name is Bob, right? So when you watch the Nativity after my recommendation, with my advisement, look for a little guy named Bob, and I want you to then let me know your opinion on him. So let me know however you want to let me know. But yeah, tell me what you think of Bob, and then we can have a conversation about that on our own time, frankly. But we don't have a lot of time because it is Christmas Day for gosh darn sake, and it's time to hurry it up. Now, how I'm going to hurry it up, I have no clue, because, again, the whole Bob story is again, another song between two such big parts of Christmas, I can't even imagine taking either of them out. Okay, presents. You're a baby, you're a kid, you need a present. Maybe not a baby, because they won't remember anyways. Kids, they won't remember the presents, but they'll remember the disappointment if you got them nothing. If you're an adult, well, it depends what kind of adult you are. If you're a greedy little freak, maybe you still like presents. Maybe it's still your highlight. Maybe you're still trying to pilfer, your parents' back wallet for every kind of, penny, pound, and cash you can pull out of it. If you're like the rest of us, socially awkward, don't like to be an inconvenience, maybe you got a martyr complex, receiving gifts once you get older is a little scuffed, man. It is. I would say Christmas is probably the best time to receive gifts if you're the type of person I'm talking about. And if you can't tell, I'm talking about myself, frankly. Because at least at Christmas, often you can mitigate the feeling of the guilt of taking a present from somebody by giving a present to that same person. And then it's like, okay, this is an exchange, this is a bartering system, I can understand. Now, it's much better than a birthday. Now, again, if you're me or smarter person, you do realize, although that kind of that guilt is mitigated, it's still then after that it's just been a useless process, right? Why? Because you've now both spent roughly the same amount of money on each other, and I mean, again, I'm not Copernicus breaking new ground here. People know this. This is a common idea. Because those presents that you got for each other are worse or equal to a present you would have got for yourself. So why not just buy your own present, or save your money and invest in a S&P based index fund for your retirement? Frankly, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm gonna give the answer that everyone kind of gives, and it is an obvious answer, and the answer is it's Christmas. Come on, you can't just buy yourself stuff. You gotta kind of give in to the holiday a little bit, and swallow your pride, and act like it's not killing you inside when someone gives you a gift, or does any kind of kind gesture, or compliments you, or says that they love you, right? That kind of thing. That being said, even though you probably do, if you're an adult and you will suck it up, it doesn't mean you enjoy the process of receiving a gift. And honestly, if you're a piece, a lot of people love to be like, "Oh, don't get me anything." Am I the only one out here being like, "Can I not get you anything either?" Like, frankly, I hate buying gifts for people. I don't know what they want. I don't have the money to, and I don't know. It's just weird. Because then it's like, as much as I'm like, if someone gets me a gift, I'm worried, like, I'm, in their debt, and they're always like, no, 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 and like, they're like, that's insane, it's Christmas, you're not in my debt. If I get someone a gift, they don't give me anything, frankly, you are in my debt. Like, I own you now. Like, that, I went through a lot of work for you, So then it's like, as much as I'm like, oh, when I get a present, I'm like, oh, I'm so worried that how I'm going to react is not going to be good enough. I'm angry when I get someone a gift and they react poorly. I'm like, react better, be happier, be more genuine. So again, presents bring a lot of conflict in my life, honestly. On top of that, maybe you are really annoying. And every Christmas, you complain about the same problem of Christmas becoming too commercialized. If this sounds like you probably don't like the presents too. Just kidding. I have a theory that those people have. There's a big. If this is the Venn diagram, I've already drawn the whole Venn diagram because the circles are overlapping because it's the exact same people. Who one of the circles is people who complain about the commercialization of Christmas. The other circle is people who benefit from the commercialization of Christmas. I think you're liking your new iPod Pro Max Plus. Meanwhile, you're making fun of Santa Claus for being on a Coca-Cola ad. Frankly, he needed the money. Okay, and you would too if you weren't getting all these expensive presents, you piece. Anyways, okay. So that all being said, I personally, if this is me, I'm not liking present giving or receiving that much. But I am a logical person who can admit that presents are such a big part of Christmas. It's such a big part of Christmas that Christmas movies, which we're talking about next, aka now, one of the tropes about a Christmas movie is they have the plot of, one of the characters is thinking that Christmas is all about the presents, because it sure seems that way, and they have to remember that it's about the family. We've seen that plot before. It's a little overdone, but frankly, the fact that it is overdone tells us something. It tells us that presents are pretty central to Christmas, if we're being honest, right? If you're trying to prove something that much, I think you're on the wrong side of the debate, frankly. But okay, Christmas movies. Oh my God! I mean, Christmas movies are great because if your family either is bad in like an abusive, really sad way, or they're just boring and kind of just like kind of like a pain to be around in the holidays. Maybe they're not even a pain to be around. Maybe they're just no fun to be around. They don't get that festive. They're not jolly, Their idea of crazy is like putting a frozen like a bag of like peas or whatever, on their head. They're like, wow, I'm crazy, right? If that's your family, let Ralphie be your family. Let him be your son, your brother, right? Your dad. They're an escape from the lulls and drolls of reality. A Christmas movie, they get you happy. They take you to a place. They tell you a story. They give you a message. They give you hope. They do so much for you, right? And frankly, they're either one of my personal favorite parts about Christmas. I love some Christmas movies. I do. You bond over them. It's similar to songs, of course. They're less known than songs, right? Even if like a super famous movie that everyone knows of, people can kind of sing along to a Christmas song. If someone's repeating every lyric of a Christmas movie, Again, that's a different kind of problem. That's not a fun, cool thing. That's a disease of the mind. You know. But they can bring people together, and in a smaller sense, maybe it's not across the globe, but across the couch, everyone can sit and not have to face the fact that they're too boring and have nothing to talk about, and everyone can just kind of be quiet and watch that movie, right? It's tough in my head. I'm yelling at myself. There's some negative self talk happening. Because again, as I'm admitting, I love Christmas movies so much. I mean, seeing this brings back so many memories. But Christmas movies, you are going against presents. It sure seems to a layman and an expert that gift giving, presents, shipping and receiving is pretty gosh darn central to Christmas. And as much as I enjoy, again, Christmas movies might be more than almost anything else on this gosh darn bracket. What I personally enjoy the most, they're also kind of, maybe this is tough to, it's weird, but they're one of the easiest things to imagine Christmas without. They're sprinkles on top. They add a lot, and I love them. They're not central. They really aren't central, and for that reason, I'm shocked. I gotta put presents, something I don't even like that much. This is a respect pick. I don't enjoy them. I do respect them. I've realized the role that presents have. Now to move on to something that it's going to be me disrespecting a lot of people, frankly. Comparing Santa Claus to the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Nativity. Wowee. I'll be honest. When I'm popping these pictures down in the 16, they're coming in a random order. When I realized, as soon as I realized that Santa Claus, the big guy himself was going against this little guy, I'm gonna be honest, I smirked. It made me happy. I drew a little smile. It curled on my lips, like maybe a Grinch perhaps would feel a similar way to me in that moment. Let's talk about pros and cons. Okay, again, to a subset of people, and to the historian, yes, Christmas is all about what's going on right here. It's about the lady in blue and the baby in placenta. This is literally what the Christmas is about. It's the holiday, right? But let me ask you a secondary question: is Thanksgiving about the Pilgrims? Is it about Native Americans? Is it about Indians? I do not think so. I think it's about turkey. I think it's about eating food. And as I mentioned before, I think secondarily it's about football, frankly, if you're in America. That being said, I think Christmas has done a better job. Maybe this might be a hot take. I honestly think Christmas has done a better job of keeping to its roots than Thanksgiving has, than a lot of these holidays have, honestly. People aren't surprised when you tell them the quote-unquote true meaning of Christmas. But if you told someone like the Celtic origins of Halloween, they'll be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Nobody knows that. They know about dressing up like a sexy devil or a spooky ghost, right? So I mean, Christmas has stayed pretty close to home, I think, with this. However, the biggest kind of thing pushing people's understanding and views of Christmas away from this little image is this guy right here. It's this big boy. Santa is the new Jesus. He is the Christmas God. and sometimes the sequel's better. Let's be honest. Santa's got a lot going for him. He's jolly. He's big. His hat even. I mean, I could have made his hat just a category on its own. Everything about it is famous, and also, if we're valuing presents, if you value apples, if you love a nice apple, do you think they're really succulent and such, tender? Do you not also, ipso facto, have respect for the apple tree? If Christmas is nothing without presents, then it's by definition nothing without the person who creates the presents. Well, that's this little guy right here. Let's be honest. But what does it matter if there's a bunch of presents in the North Pole that these little dudes made? If this little big guy and these little dudes, let's ignore the fact that this dude didn't make it, and the snowman did, who's honestly useless in the process. But what's the meaning of Christmas if ignore the reindeer? But if this guy doesn't deliver the presents on time or at all, because it doesn't exist, because Jesus exists. When has Jesus made giving you presents? Present? Oh, he forgave you for your sins and died for them. Oh, what's the price tag on that? Oh, it's priceless. Sounds like it's a cheap gift. Yeah. So this macaroni necklace is also priceless. I don't see you smiling too big when you receive it for Christmas. Frankly, I think you want something from the big guy. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I feel like the less I talk about this one, the better. And Santa's gonna win. Santa, we have more to say about you, obviously. Guys, I feel bad. I don't do it on purpose, but we just don't have the room. Okay, cool. Next up, these two are a bit similar. I did it on purpose, kind of. Not really. It was just I thought of one, and then my brain went to the other. We have gingerbread men house and just gingerbread itself versus sugar cookies. I sure do love them sugar cookies, babe. Man, oh man, these are pretty similar, and you might be thinking, if you're thinking to yourself, this is literal God, this is the true God, this is a golden God singer, this is a Christmas tree, right? You're looking at the people who are making it, and you're thinking, what are these busters doing in the list, right? I don't know, right? Okay, I don't. They're not gonna win. Spoiler alert. If you love gingerbread or sugar cookies, these guys aren't winning. Spoiler alert, they're not beating Santa Claus. These are cookies versus Santa Claus, right? But they're here, okay? And let's accept that. And let's not, razz them or make fun of them or they're okay. They're cool. We like them still, Let's not be haters, okay? So, who's winning between them? And this is as far as they're going to get, as we just admitted. Honestly, guys, I'm going to do something a little unorthodox. I'm just going to put Santa up here. That's, yeah. I can do that. I feel a little weird about it. I kind of don't like that I did it, honestly. A little bit of regret. Okay, a lot of regret. I don't like that this is just empty and this is here. It seemed unbalanced. Also, the whole order of everything's just thrown off now, but it's okay. Okay? Whew. I think when I was made by Santa God, right, I was given 100 points across all of my stats. And you might be like, and this has 100 points in it. You might be like, what do you mean across all your stats? That's just a single stat. This is snowman ability. Right here. This is good mythical morning. No, it's ginger man ability. This is a 0. I've tried to make some gingerbread men and houses. God, I failed big time. Every gosh darn time I've tried. I've tried to get creative. Also, just like it's not just houses. I think a lot of people are bad at making houses. Even the men, man. Even just cooking up some little dudes, man, and decorating those guys. I genuinely bad at it. Somehow, I'm also bad at making sugar cookies, which is kind of crazy because they're pretty simple to make. True story. This is a true story, guys. Last time I tried to make a sugar cookie, I made some little shapes, pretty good little shapes and such. This one is like a decagon. And then I had like a bit of, this is a ball of sugar cookie matter left. And let's say this is more full. And I was like, there's no room for me to put this in this pan. Now, what do? Get a bigger pan? Cook 2 pans of sugar cookies? No. Not I. I took this, I molded it with my hands. Arms, hands, fingers, right? Other arm, other hand, other fingers, right? I molded this into a tower, right? And it had some supports, some buttresses, if you know anything about architecture. That's the correct term. These buttresses went a little flying in the oven because this thing straight toppled pretty quick. Believe it or not, I know, surprising. It drooped and it sagged. If these are the bars of the oven, it kind of sagged between some of the bars. And honestly, was okay. But just a reminder to not experiment or try anything new because you're gonna mess it up most likely. So again, I'm not great at producing either of these items, these delicious little creatures. However, I do like eating the creatures. I do like consuming. I would say I've consumed a lot more sugar cookies in my life. And I would also say sugar cookies taste much better. I don't think that's a hot take, though. I think, as you know, gingerbread men / houses and sugar cookies are not equal in taste. Much better. But Christmas is not about taste, right? It's the tackiest of all holidays, right? It's about decorating. You can decorate both of these, but you know that gingerbread is better to decorate, looks cooler, and the ceiling on gingerbread, oh my god, it's infinite. Some of these houses are insanely cool. And here's my take, man. I love if this was a cookie, if you just took all this out and this was an O and an O and a K and an I and an E, right? If this was a cookies bracket, sugar cookies, maybe this is spoiling, future brackets. They might win, honestly. I love sugar cookies, like big time. Like I'm a fiend for them. But man, this is a Christmas bracket. And if I see even a picture of even this picture right here, does nothing for me. But this gingerbread house, it really does something for me, and I really like it. Gets me in the spirit, gets me in the holiday mood. Although I'm not even really that interested in eating gingerbread really ever. Looking at it is better than the eating experience. I'm gonna be that bold and say that. So gingerbread is moving on, and just like that, gingerbread is lost to Santa Claus. Breaking news: gingerbread. Just a bad cookie that you can put icing on has lost to the guy that the holiday's all about. If we're taking the real version of the holiday, of course. Okay. Next up, we have this is the biggest lumping just completely different ideas together. This is not a little cute baby girl yawning with her dog. Well, that is what the picture is of. This is 3 separate ideas. Christmas pajamas. Christmas Eve, and specifically, like the night before Christmas. Not that night before Christmas, but But just laying in bed, the anticipation, staying up, trying to sleep but not being able to sleep, like hearing every creak in the house, listening for Santa and the reindeer and all that. It's also Christmas sweaters. Why sweaters? Just because they're kind of like PJs. Not any real relation with those. And why this one is because you're in your PJs in having that experience, right? So this is a big messy clump of ideas here, and it's going up against a pretty clear set, a clearly defined little messy clump of a man, none other than the Grinch. Okay, I got a bit of a. I got a little bit of a manifesto with the Grinch. All right, guys. See this dude? That's the Grinch. Again, I love Jim Carrey, but Harry, right? I do like that version, but that's not the Grinch. The Grinch is Dr. Seuss, right? The live action version is a fun reimagining of a classic tale, right? But I think it's been getting. It's hard. I'm happy for the Jim Carrey version and the respect and the clout it's been drowning in. But let's not forget who's the king here. The king is the D. Seuss Grinch, guys. Like, that is the OG, right? Eminem has had a very successful career, but he ain't nothing without Dr. Dre, right? Let's be honest here. Let's be frank with the reality of the world, right? So I'm not holding that against the Grinch at all. If anything, I'm giving the Grinch some sympathy points because I think it's been forgotten by the fake version. Now, don't even get me gosh darn started. Oh my God, on this new cartoon, like 3D cartoony Grinch. I've never seen it. I've only heard some of the soundtrack. My God, it's ruined the Grinch's appearance, and it is actually that Grinch song, "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," in that version of the movie. Genuinely, it makes me want to revert my pick for Christmas songs, knowing that's technically on the list as a Christmas song. One of the worst covers I've ever seen. So I'm not going to hold that version against it because I don't count that version of the Grinch as an actual Grinch. Okay. So, man, these. How do you compare a cartoon character versus a feeling you get before falling asleep with a certain kind of attire on? I mean, what are we even doing here? Honestly, man, the Grinch is one of those characters that he really hit a special chord with people because you get to there is a real Grinch inside of us, right? That happens every Christmas. If you're me, genuinely, you kind of are. You're a skeptic of the holiday, as if you haven't had a million of them before. You're kind of like, meh, Christmas schmishmish, right? You know, what's the big deal? It's just a day. And then you hear a Christmas song. And then you walk by, a Tiffany's and they got the Christmas tree up. Then, you see some kid making a snowman and you knock it over and watch them cry. Then you ask your dad, for a Nintendo Switch, right? And then Santa comes to your house, and maybe it's not. Maybe it's on the song. Maybe it's on the tree. Maybe it's not any of these. But at some point, I don't know what particular point it is for you. What event? Which of these 15 other items it does it for you? But one of these just makes your heart grow a little bit. One of these makes you feel for the first time in a year. And it warms you up. And like the Grinch, what's good about the Grinch is he's sarcastic, he's snarky, he's a bit of a piece, like real people are. But also, like real people, he's a bit bipolar. Let's be honest with the guy. He goes from hating it, destroying it, to being like, oh, I'm a Christmas freak. Like, a rational person would be like, hey, I need to repent a little bit, and I don't apologize for my anti-Christmas hate. Could I please come for the holidays? I won't be a big deal. I'll just kind of be content, be happy in the corner. He's like, no. Now that I've changed my mind, I'm forcing everyone to change their mind about me. Everyone, look at me, I'm now the Christmas king. Like, boy, you didn't even like Christmas a day ago. Like, chill out a little bit. And although I'm saying that angrily, it's like, I relate to that, because that's how we are. We're manic freaks, you know? Who switch on dimes. I mean, that being said, I mean, come on, man. You see a couple little kids in their little PJs getting all excited before the holiday, like before Christmas Day. It's like, man, that's what it's all about, man. We have another issue like the dinner versus the tree, where as you get older, I think you like the Grinch. The Grinch becomes one of your favorite characters of Christmas, right? Compared to an elf, compared to a Santa, compared to a reindeer, you start loving a Grinch, honestly. You do. He's also like he's a good-looking character. So it's easy to look at him because it's pleasant, too. Just kind of a side note. Man, again, guys, it's hard to draw the T chart for you and show you every gosh darn reason for why I feel the ways I feel. When what I'm describing is something that are so at their very core not even remotely similar, right? But something in my head it keeps thinking about, back to being a kid, right? Man, there was something about putting on those pajamas, because the pajamas are not even just. I think the sweaters are honestly not a big part, right? I think it's much more the pajamas and the night before Christmas, and getting excited about Christmas, right? Just being in the pajamas and in that frenzy, which I drew for you earlier with the presents. I know in a way it's about the presents, right? But it is that whole maybe I've done a good job of blocking this as a single category of a thing, because there is a single experience, like a continuous experience between going to sleep in those pajamas, waking up in those pajamas, and it's like yes, there's a magic of going down and seeing the presents under the tree, right? But it's like you wake up with so much magic energy. I don't know if it's just the anticipation for the presents. It's because you wake up in those PJs and you feel a little different. I know that seems dumb, right? Oh, it's just a pair of pajamas. But if you know, man. Like, it's a special feeling going to sleep and waking up in those pajamas. I don't know, like, it sounds weird saying it out loud to focus on, like, the article of clothing that you're wearing while you're sleeping, but it's like, I think what I'm saying is real. I think the effect, it is a real effect that it has on people, right? I'm just imagining, like, oh, if I just went to bed, Christmas Eve, like, in sweatpants and, like, a Minecraft t-shirt, like, I'd be dripped, but I wouldn't be jolly. And, like, they look so cute, like the little babies running around, like, in their little, like, again, because they look like this, right? They're always the little, I know some people have, like, I hate the pajamas where it's like a shirt that's like, oh, this is like white, and the little pants are like red. You see, especially when people are like older, you see a lot of this. It's weird. I don't want to be a hater. If you want to wear pajamas when you're older, like, I know people still get Christmas pajamas even when they're like old. Like, I see that happen all the time. You see photos where it's a whole family and they're all in matching pajamas. I think there's a temptation when you get older to start wearing pajamas like this, just because they're a bit less like goofy looking than these. I think go full bore or don't go any kind of bore. Honestly, you should. I think Christmas pajamas should always match the top and bottom. I'm a huge believer in that, no matter the age. And it is true. You do look ridiculous, a little ridiculous, being older wearing matching pajamas. But you also look ridiculous wearing non-matching pajamas, Christmas pajamas at least. Honestly, kind of any kind of pajamas, if we're being honest with ourselves. Unless you're like really old, then it's like kind of understandable again because we have like Alzheimer's. But I don't really remember my point here. My point is just make sure they match, frankly. And rock it if you're going to. Maybe don't. Maybe it's hard for me to. I don't want to advise to just stop wearing pajamas when you get older. I won't be. I don't think I will be. At 60 years old, wearing pajamas still. Frankly, I'm not anymore already, and I'm not 60 yet. Spoiler alert. I'm so sorry, guys. The Grinch is winning. It's magic. The Christmas pajamas are magic. The little babies in those little magic things and their little socks, like jumping around, like bouncing on the carpet in the living room. It's like, bro, that's great. But like, look, just like, oh my God, there's so much like power in the Grinch. Like, he's such a powerful man. Okay. Let's look at a powerful baby. This is an elf. Obviously, it's not a real elf. We don't know what real elves look like, right? This is a baby dressed like an elf. I'm sorry. I could have used a cartoon elf, but I figured, like, most of what I have are real pictures with a couple of exceptions, right? But I don't know. I just wanted a real photo, and, a cartoon of an elf wouldn't be real anyway, so I went baby. In this picture, you might be confused. I'm just going to show you guys what's going on here. I think we have the technology to do this. This has helped a lot, I think. So this is a young girl, clearly young girl, not youngish, definitely young, too young. Who's plugging her ears as her parents or just two random adult man and woman in her house are yelling at each other, right? What does this represent? This represents literally just Christmas with family, like spending time with your family at Christmas. That's what this image represents. Maybe it's weird that I chose such a violent, sad photo. Really devastating. I mean, I apologize if that made you really upset to see that. But I think it leads into my biggest critique of the spending time with family, right? Because if I don't have that be the image and I don't remind you and I don't give this critique right away, you're gonna be questioning why this didn't just start at the winner's circle. Because you definitely seem a bit like the Grinch if you say spending time with family and friends and loved ones isn't the best part of Christmas. Like, oh no, it's the turkey. Yeah, no, that's better than everyone I love and care about and who loves and cares about me. Nah, it's much better. That's kind of hard to say, guys. So let's address the fact that families aren't always perfect. Friends aren't always perfect. Maybe the problem isn't with the loved ones, but the fact that you don't have that many loved ones to spend Christmas with. That's a genuine concern. Just to unveil my curtain, guys, I don't need that sympathy. If you do feel a little sympathetic, frankly, I would appreciate if you watched Nativity ! And told me what you thought about Bob. I think that's what you could do to make it up for me. But guess what? I'm spending Christmas alone. Yep, I'm here alone. And surprise! No, I have no decorations. I can't listen to Christmas music. I have no Christmas tree. I have no Christmas dinner. There's no snowman. There's no snow. I haven't heard a single reindeer. I got no presents. I've watched no Christmas movies. Santa doesn't like me. No comet. No gingerbread. No cookies. I feel like the Grinch. No pajamas. No elves. No family. Surprise! Let me clean up. So just like, bro, if you're sitting there and you're judging my picks, man, when I'm saying, oh, I wonder what Christmas would be like without this thing. Well, guess what I know? I know full well. You know? Sometimes Christmas isn't... Sometimes being with family isn't the best part about Christmas, you know? Sometimes it's tough. And that's genuine. I do get that. The holidays are a stressful time. It's also, let's be honest, you know, it's also a time where there's pressure to not have some of the realities of life, right? You don't want to have you don't like here's a really easy example. Nobody wants to be sick on Christmas. And it's always upsetting when you know it's always happened to somebody, right? To you one time, right? You at least. You know, there's always that one residual person who's sick every Christmas. But you also don't want to be struggling financially, you know? You also don't want to be having, problems with your spouse during Christmas. You don't want to be, not talking to one of your family members because of some issue during Christmas. You don't want to be tired. You don't want to be overworked. You want to be perfect for Christmas. And you're not. You're not perfect. Your family's not perfect. And the day's not going to be perfect. And sometimes coming to terms with that is tough. And it can feel like you can feel like a bit of a failure if you have to admit that and accept that. And I think because of that, that's why tensions run high, because everyone's trying to make it perfect. Or even if people are trying to accept that it won't be perfect, a lot of disappointment and kind of resentment can be in the air. So I recognize that Christmas, genuinely, as fun as it is to look at these little Grinches and snowmen and such, sometimes it's not all fun. Sometimes there's some tough stuff going on here. But this is not just a critique. This is not just a bad thing. Because I almost think, I know this is maybe this is a privileged thing to say, genuinely, right? Because I know, I haven't always had perfect Christmas-y, if you will, but I've had some good Christmases. I've had some, and I always have some highlights of the day, and there's always something to look forward to. So, there's always someone I know who is wishing me a Merry Christmas, and they mean it, right? It's not just some store clerk. But honestly, even if a store clerk is all you hear it from, if that in me is all who's gonna say it to you today, that's okay too. Because that's my whole point, right? Is I think sometimes if you're struggling, if you're feeling isolated or alone, or like a failure, like you're not doing enough, or you're not perfect enough for Christmas, I think it almost makes the little things, the little connections with people, even if it's strangers or if it's a friend or if it is a family member, and the little gestures they do for you, more meaningful. So genuinely, family, friends, and the people around you, even though they can be really imperfect and they can be a cause of real problems, man, the joy that it can bring to have some good quality time with them during the holidays, man, and that is, that's really impactful, man. Now, let's remind ourselves that we're judging this against an elf. All right, so those really impactful moments versus an elf, the guy who's making all your presents. So, do you appreciate your dad for sucking it up and coming out and working with your other parent to make Christmas dinner and to be there for you and take pictures of you open your presents? Or do you think the elves who actually put the presents in the boxes? Tough one. Just gonna say this out loud to remind myself that I can't just put the baby ahead because it's a baby, and I love babies, right? So let's talk about elves as we did with the reindeer, right? Beyond just the role that it plays in the operation of Christmas, there's also the kind of the public image of the elf. You see them a lot depicted in films and in cartoons and such. Different ways, obviously reimagined because people don't know. I'm going to be honest, guys. I love elves. I don't love the way people depict elves. I don't think they're done a good justice, right? Almost every time I see an elf depicted, I'm like, it's not right. Like, even though I don't know, I know it's not that, right? Which sometimes you see a Santa depiction, you see a reindeer, and you're like, man, if that's actually what's going on up there, like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I kind of like that. Not so much with the elf, man. So honestly, I'm not a big pro elf in any sense besides the real one. I don't like the image of the elf that much. I don't like the voices they give elves. I don't know. Not a big fan. I do like the elf aesthetic, at least. Like, again, like this baby elf costume I love, right? So that is a benefit. I guess most of it is in the actual, the duty that the elves provide, the service, which is massive. And it is tough to, you want to, I think elves obviously go underappreciated, right? In many ways, they're the Luigi of Christmas. Some might say they're the yellow toad of Christmas, but so you want to say, elves, you take this W because you put in all the hours, you put in the real work to make Christmas run smoothly, and for that we thank you. But something in my heart knows that the elves would understand. And the elves are okay with being underappreciated, right? They do it for the love of the game, not because they want, they don't want a Dear Elf letter on Christmas. Write Dear Santa, write him a letter, they'll keep working because they love it, So I think they would prefer that you appreciate the people in your life, your friends and family, and everyone else who makes Christmas a little bit more special. So I'm gonna put human interaction. I guess that's what I'm calling it now. Above elves, and that moves us on. Technically, we moved on to the next round a long time ago when we put the Santa above there. And yes, that's still annoying me that we did that. Frankly. Okay. Christmas music versus the Christmas tree. How can you rock around the Christmas tree if you can't rock and there's no tree? God dang, man. This is a tough one again. Man, this feels very present Christmas movie kind of question right now. I definitely enjoy Christmas music a lot more than a Christmas tree. I do. I really, really do. But it is so true that a Christmas tree is a stronger symbol of Christmas. I mean, man, if you're making an emoji of Christmas, you're making a Christmas tree. You know what I mean? And despite what I've just said, I have a feeling, I don't think I've felt this before, but from my knowledge, from my research, I think other people would call this clarity washing over me right now. And it's such a simple feeling, but it's a very strong and undeniable feeling. And that feeling is that Christmas songs are moving on to the next round. And I know this is uncharacteristic for me, frankly. I understand. I have that much self-awareness, frankly. But Christmas Tree, man, maybe this is an alpha effect. It was too comfortable going in the background, right? It was too, and if you go in the background, what happens? You look at this image, man. The background image. You get cropped. You get cropped out. Yeah, great. You're this nice platonic ideal, man. How about a romantic ideal? How about making a statement? Oh, you're so neutral. Everyone loves you. What if that means no one really knows you, frankly? And frankly, I know a lot more times a Christmas song has made me happy than just looking at a Christmas tree or just having one ambiently around me. Maybe a controversial pick, but Christmas tree, I have to say what needs to be said. You are important, but you're just another Christmas decoration. I'm sorry, but you are. So if Christmas songs beat decorations, they're beating you too. I apologize. Okay, next up we have snowmen and women versus presents. Come on, guys. Come on. You have what I love, my truest passion in life versus the thing perhaps I dread the most. This is nightmare fuel versus a dream come true, right? I don't know what's happening to me, guys. Maybe it's a little bit of I don't know. It's a little bit of the Christmas magic seeping into me. But I live this stressed out, high strung existence where every decision I make needs at least 46 minutes of deliberation and intense debate. But guys, it's like sometimes you just know, man. Do you guys feel like this too? Like, does this happen to you? Do you sometimes just know what's right in your mind's eye? Man, oh man. I think I might, bro. Snowmen are so good. They're so good. A snowman is so good. It's one of these things though that like it's like even if Christmas collapsed and if Christmas doesn't exist, tree is literally useless. Like Christmas trees are garbage. Christmas songs are weird because it's like, what are you about? Gingerbread and sugar cookies are kind of just again bad and weird. You might disagree with that because it seems like these are pretty similar. Building a gingerbread house versus building a snowman, I disagree completely. Like these are festive and cool. There is something just primally satisfying about a big old honking, impressive, beautiful snowman. Right? There really is. So it's not just a Christmas thing at all. Like snowmen are just, if there's snow, build one. So that's what I'm going to say. Snowman, you are moving on to the next round in a bracket about snow. But this is not about snow. This is about Christmas. And for that reason, I'm sorry. This is new me. Presidents win. It's clear as day to me. I don't know why. I don't like presents. But come on, man! You see those boxes wrapped up, and you know it's Christmas, bro. You know you excited. 'Cause, okay, even me, bro. Even me. Here's my real explanation. Even me. Here's me. I hate presents. Right? Right. I see that. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. I start looking a little shifty, if you know what I mean. In the sense that I start getting a little side eye. I'm like, yo, what's going on? Yo, guys. What's going on over there? Oh. Yo, what's happening? Are those for me? Sorry, that's what humans are like, man. We want to act like we're some noble, not for thine self. But when you see a gift wrapped, you look around, you're like, yo, who's gonna jump out and say, hey, Merry Christmas, this is for you. Surprise, I've been thinking about you. It's exactly what you wanted. How'd you know? Okay, moving on, guys. Apologize. We have the Grinch versus your grandpa, aka just a human interaction on Christmas Day. I'll be honest, guys. I think some people are going to be. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I think some people are going to be hearing this category and be thinking, "What an insane thing to even say as a category." But especially because so many of the other ones include human interaction on Christmas Day, But again, sorry, not sorry. I am who I am, and I'm a man who makes great categories. Oh man, like I don't think I've ever. Like, this is a different feeling, and this is when I do feel very often instead of clarity. I feel like a strong desire to just without even having thought about it at all. Wouldn't it be really like good to just see this Grinch move on up past family? Like, sorry, you don't move. The Grinch goes on ahead of you. Oh man, that would make me really happy to do, honestly. Okay, now let's actually think about it. Let's not listen to those tantalizing little inner thoughts I'm having. Okay, the Grinch, as we've said, a really attractive kind of thing, good, looking and stuff. Also good looking, also has that going for him. Okay, so I think that's most of what can be said about the Grinch. Really hot. And about human interaction. Again, I feel like we were talking about it honestly pretty recently, guys. We have to make it. We have to really think: is Christmas the Grinch? Okay, I know it seems silly. The Grinch is literally the Grinch, right? But you like the Grinch, right? Just being honest. You're at home. You're like, yeah, I like the Grinch. Of course you do, because you have inner thoughts. He speaks to the inner self, man, right? You like the Grinch because even if you hate yourself and you think you're ugly and you get mad at yourself all the time, like, and even if you're like self-destructive, you're like ultimately on your own side, right? Like you're in your own POV because that's yourself. Like you think, therefore you are, right? So it's like if something speaks to your inner self and you can relate to it and you feel like this is me, that's powerful. And it makes you, we talk about this is something you have with your family, this is something you have with the world, and those are all powerful. The Grinch you have with yourself, man. And that might be the most valuable, thing in the world. It is something you can hold close to yourself. Even as we talked about, even these really meaningful external things like relationships with loved ones and people during the holidays, those are external. They are variable. They are dependent on the actions and feelings and personalities of other people. Bro, you just be you, man. You just be you and you love the Grinch. You don't have to do anything to love the Grinch. The Grinch. You have to put effort into people. You have to care. You have to empathize. Not with the Grinch, man. Just be you. Bro, just be you. Like, love or even any kind of strong feeling for a human being, a non-Grinch entity, is really complex. And day to day, it can feel like a gosh darn battle. But there's nothing simpler than the relationship you have with the Grinch. Unbridled love and lust, right? God, is that beautiful, honestly, man. Man. Man, oh man, this is tough. Okay. Again, as we talked about, I have enough self-awareness that I understand that the Grinch is a psychopath's pick. I do. I know that it's true. But I'm honestly thinking it's like, yes, it can be really, like, people can make you really happy during the holidays, but so can the Grinch. You know? So can the Grinch. Guys, come on. Okay. I feel like I'm having a crisis of consciousness. It's like, what am I doing here? It's Christmas Day. I'm gonna draw you guys a picture. Here's my bed. Here's my desk. That's me. That's me. I'm sitting here alone. I'm looking at my laptop. I'm looking at a picture of the Grinch. And I'm contemplating if it's better than people. And the Grinch is winning in my mind. I'm sitting here alone, right here. This is right above me. If I look up right now, I'm looking up. If you look at that picture, it's like we're looking at each other, and you can see me in my room. Maybe if you can see me, maybe I'm not alone then. And if I'm not alone, I don't have to push people away. And if I don't have to push people away, I don't have to put the Grinch above people. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. It's Christmas songs versus presents. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry about that. I don't know what that was. I apologize. I'm sorry. I really am. Okay, guys. Christmas music, presents. Man, it's a toughie. Wow. How do you compare the tangible versus the sonar? It's the iPod you got versus what you put on the iPod. How many times is he going to reference getting an iPod for Christmas, something that nobody has gotten for at least 15 years? I don't know. I do not know. Again, presents are like the cartoon answer for what Christmas is all about. Uh, you love it. It makes you so happy. Even though it feels bad, like you feel so guilty for feeling really good when you're about to get a present. But like, oh my god, you do. When you actually get it, you're like, oh no, I feel guilty now. But like, oh my god, you get a high that you feel ashamed about. Like you get a dirty high when you're about to get a present because you know you like stuff. You little materialistic freak. You present slut. But even when you're feeling like a sane person, that's the ideal song. That's the ideal time for a Christmas song. Excuse me, right? You know it. Well, I say that, but I think the ideal time for it is when you're sane. But a Christmas song also gets you going a little crazy, man. It does. It can. It can. I had a football coach back in the day. He told me two things that stuck with me. Thing number one was you're either getting better or worse every day. You're never staying just the same. And that's pretty unrelated to anything we've been talking about, but I just thought it was some useful advice that he gave me. The other thing that I always remember is he said, like, he was he mows lawns during, or he did at least. He mowed lawns during the summer months because he couldn't coach and teach, so he wanted some extra money. And he started listening to all this music, obviously, while he's mowing these lawns, right? What else are you gonna do? And he was just listening to, I forget even what type of music he said he was listening to, but it was just like this very like kind of angry, like, intense music that all the lyrics were, like it's kind of, it's egging you on to get angry. It's making you just, and sometimes you want to just enjoy it. You want to indulge. You're feeling mad. You just want some, some stuff to rock out to, or maybe it doesn't have to be rock, but something to kind of just echo that feeling back to you. But he said, mowing that lawn every day, listening to that music, he started really, internalizing that, and he noticed his mood. As the summer would progress, he got more and more angry every day, and he just said, guys, I don't know why he told us this story. It was honestly weird as hell. Again, this is middle school. I'm a 12-year-old playing football for the first time. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how to play. I'm bad. I can't catch a football. And now I'm hearing about not listening to heavy metal or rap music while you're mowing lawns, right? But he said, you just be careful what's going in your ears, right? Because even if you think it's not getting in your brain, it is. And I guess that's my advice for Christmas music for you guys. It's be careful with what you're how much you're putting into your ears, because if you just listen to that stuff all the time, you'll go Christmas crazy, man. I mean, you will, and you see what happens when people go Christmas crazy, right? Like, you do, man. It really is. It's a disease of the mind that infects millions of people around the world. You see these people. Oh my God, they flip out if anything about Christmas isn't perfect. It's their entire personality is that they like Christmas. These are the people, by the way. These are the gosh darn people who are quoting every line of the Christmas movie. Spoiler alert. It's the same person who listened to too much Christmas music. I think, I think a lot of people will see people who listen to that much Christmas music and think they've got the infection and this is what they do. I honestly think the infection starts at the Christmas music. Why? Because I feel it begin to take me once I start listening to a little too much Christmas music. I go, I start foaming at the mouth, man. I want to start baking and decorating and building snowman, even though there's no snow. I want to talk to people who aren't there. Like I go crazy, man. So that's just a little advice for you guys. Christmas songs versus presents. Man, I started out this list, man, this bracket, and I felt like every decision I was making was really tough because they were both really good and great symbols for Christmas. Now I'm kind of feeling like every time I'm making a decision, I'm making I'm trying to pick the best of two evil options, two insidious, dark things that I'm trying to compare, but they're both so, at their core, like deeply flawed. So, do you is psychosis better than animalistic greed? An objective want? Is masking your real feelings with jolly, upbeat, hypnotic tools what you prefer? Or do you prefer a tactile distraction? Do you prefer not being able to communicate emotions properly, so instead you show how much you value someone with how much money you're willing to spend on them? God. Guys, this is tough. But I have to remind myself of this. I'm not making the bracket for you. I'm not making it for George Michael. I'm not making it for me when I was a kid. I'm making the bracket for me now. And what's true to me now is every Christmas I have, it becomes less about specifics and more about feelings. And maybe it is just a auditory mask of true feelings, but man, oh man, do those Christmas songs give me feeling a certain kind of way. And I'm putting them above presents, which might be blasphemous, frankly. More so than the nativity stuff. I can't believe presents didn't get in the top two even. Wow, that's kind of crazy, honestly. But here we are, man. And the fact that even when I say here we are, I want to start singing a Christmas song. as in olden days. You know, it's like, come on, guys. It's like, it just reminds me that no, Christmas songs deserve to be in the finals. Now let's see who else deserves to be in the finals. We have Santa Gosh darn Claus, the big little man, versus human interactions. Okay, guys. This is why. This is what your mom says it's all about. This is what you. I'll just fit a little you in there. That's what you think it's all about. You're focused on the big guy. You're focused on Santa. And Santa thinks it's all about you. And like your family and your mom, they think it's about themselves. Right? All I'm saying, guys, let's say you agree with your mom. You invest in your family. Your family, maybe some members invest in you, but maybe they just invest in themselves. That doesn't mean they just invest in them, in their own individual self, but they invest in their other members of the family. You might not be getting anything back from it if you go with your mom. If you go with you, bro, the more you give to Santa, the more he gives to you. His only condition is that you believe in him. If you believe in you and you feel strong enough, you get everything back and more. This girl believed in her family. She believed in the sanctity of marriage. Now look at her. She's crying, she's screaming, and she's covering her ears. Her family is hurting her. The yells hurt her ears. You know what doesn't hurt her ears? The Santa cap she has on. That feels snug as a bunny. Let me just clean up. Oh, Santa. I know it's like in vogue, it's in fashion these days to be anti-Santa. He's so lazy. He works one day a year. It's all the elves, all the reindeer. Nobody who likes Santa doesn't give credit to the reindeer and elves. Like, I do. I love them too. Right? But you need a figurehead. Like, when a country is screwing up or doing well, they aren't like, let's blame every person in the State Department. What? No, let's blame the president. Let's blame the one person in charge. You need a figurehead, right? So yes, Santa gets a lot of praise, but guess who is getting blamed? Like, okay, oh, you think that's unfair? Oh, I got no presents? You're like, screw you, Santa. That's who's getting the blame if things go wrong. You'll be like, what? I've never heard anyone say, screw you, Santa. I didn't get any presents. You know why? Because they're getting presents. Because he runs a tight ship. Like, or actually though, like, Santa is actually so goated. He's too goated. Like, he's actually busted. Like, okay, genuinely, guys, I considered not putting him on the bracket. This is what I considered. I considered putting him as the background image. Because he's too busted and not having him on the list. But what's crazy is this, I feel like even though I just did it before pressing record, I don't even remember what this image was meant to be. Now it has just become human interaction. But the whole point is I put that as the background, was human interaction, because it was this very pure thing that was like, it was too big to be encompassed by one of these little things. And that's what was like, oh, it's what Christmas is about, and, it's so big that we can't compare it to these other, icons and such. And now it's what's happened. This was just a screaming girl. Now it's this. Now it might as well be this background image. Oh God, it's tough though. It is tough, bro. So what am I saying here, right? What am I saying? What I'm saying is, when you're comparing two absolutely goated, busted options, it becomes balanced, man. Like, again, Santa is Christmas God. With a capital G. But today, this is honestly what's keep coming back to me. I've done very little today, but I have had a few interactions with people, human beings, over the phone. Right? Because I'm alone. And that has been my highlight, bro. It's the human interactions have been my highlight of the day. But I'm also thinking, it's like, I think that's true because I've had no God in my life. Yeah, of course, if you're godless, you're gonna love the benign and mundane, pathetic adventures of the day because you don't know anything better. And but my memory is too good. Because even if I don't know Santa Claus, Christmas God today, I know he's out there. And I remember him. So Santa's going to the finals. Here we are, guys. It's, just check in my local time. There's an hour left of Christmas. Frankly. And what a way to end the day. I really thought this episode would be really uplifting for me to make. I thought it'd be really fun. I thought it would be kind of short. I thought it might be, just kind of messing around, not taking things too seriously. But here we are, man. I think last episode I might have offended you. I knew I might have alienated part of my audience. I think here I've offended myself and alienated the part of me which felt joy. Let me just. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay, so, yeah. Well, now it's too big. Okay, good. I just want to see what we're dealing with here. Christmas songs versus Santa Claus. I mean, so many Christmas songs are about Santa Claus. But so much of what I know and love about Santa Claus comes from the Christmas songs I've heard. Christmas songs are a tangible thing. I listen to them. I play them. I like them. I enjoy them. Santa Claus is a being I've never met, but I admire from a distance. I don't play Santa Claus unless it's a Christmas song called Santa Claus. Christmas is not about presents. It's not about family. It's not about Jesus. It's about desire. The desire for, yes, things like presents, for gifts, for real, tangible, physical things. It's also about desire for your parents to get along, or get back together, or for your, brother to get back home. It's a desire to be young again, to be a kid again. It's a desire to have simpler desires. But we all know that every time we celebrate Christmas, every single year, our desires don't change. They might adapt and they might shift in degrees. And maybe when you're a kid, you desire for presents more, and then other times you desire for family or other things. But that wanting, that reaching, that hope for more, that ambition that isn't clear, that you can't touch, but is out there, is persistent. And its persistence is real. We hope for the newborn king. The hope for a nice evening and a quiet night. I have Christmas songs. I hold them, I think about them, I mold them in my mind. They get stuck. Sometimes they get unstuck and I leave them for a few years, but then sooner or later I'll pick them back up and carry them for a few more years. But that's not what Christmas is about. Christmas is, in part, celebrating what you have and the joy that brings you, but that's secondary. Secondary to what is primary, which is the hope and desire for what you have to be perfect. And that search causes problems and greed and hurt feelings, but it's a desire that it's important. Because if you don't have that desire, if you're not getting better every day, you're getting worse. So if you don't desire for perfection, you'll look at the good and say that's good enough, and it'll get worse, and it will leave you, and it will crumble. So we need an image, we need a North Star to guide us. We need someone who is perfect every year, but also perfectly elusive, perfectly blurred to our vision. We need Santa Claus. Ladies and gentlemen, Santa Claus is the best part of Christmas. Thank you guys very much for sticking with me. I genuinely do hope that your Christmas is and was great. I hope you were surrounded by loved ones. I hope you had lots of fun. And even though it didn't make the first round, I hope you had some gosh darn good food, man. I hope that Christmas dinner was popping. Straight delish up in there. But genuinely, guys, I do mean it when I say Merry Christmas to all you guys at home. Happy holidays. If you're doing poorly, keep your head up. You'll get through it. And if you're doing great, soak it up while you can. All right. See you guys next time.